Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again. I am your host, Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and myself will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we are reviewing Spoonful of Sugar, streaming on Shudder. And no, it has nothing to do with Mary Poppins. Just throwing that out there. But maybe
I was expecting to see Howlin' Wolf or Albert King.
Yeah. Might have a little bit more to do with the Penguins, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I promise you. All right. Let me introduce the rest of my crew. Starting off with the one and only Jeff Mohr. How you doing, sir?
Just a minute. I got to take my medicine.
Screw
that microdosing stuff. I'm good. I'm really good.
He's so good. Also joining us this week is a living dead girl, the one and only Crystal Cleveland. How you doing?
I am well. I haven't killed any rabbits this week, so I guess I'm...
This week, she says.
This week. I mean,
progress, not perfection, Crystal.
But doom. All right. And of course, rounding out the crew is the one and only Dave Dreher.
Sorry, I was behind.
We'll get on that.
I tell you, that was very ill-timed. Crystal, although you haven't killed any rabbits, have you had sex next to any dead aardvarks or whatever that was?
Aardvarks?
No.
What the hell was that? What was that thing they dug up? And
they were rabbits.
Decided to screw next to. Oh, okay.
They were all those rabbits.
Right. Aardvark.
Yeah.
You and your strange fetishes.
I didn't know what it was. I couldn't tell if it was a cat or if it was...
I'd only be sad if it was like capybaras or something.
Oh my
I
gosh.
wasn't sure what was going on there.
You crazy. All right, so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to give you our first impression of Spoonful of Sugar, where the first impression will be spoiler-free, and then we'll dive into discussion, get into the spoilers, and spoilers will be had. And then we'll wrap things up with our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. Oh, that we will. And we hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, please hit the like, subscribe, and share with the friend buttons.
Yes.
And help us locate more horror fans just like you.
Yes.
Thank
Just
you.
like you.
Thank you. All right, let's take a look at the card. Spoonful of Sugar, available streaming on Shudder beginning March 2nd, 2023. The synopsis, get ready, is Millicent, is taking a semester off from her studies to concentrate on her thesis about children with severe allergies, which makes her the perfect person to take care of little Johnny, a sickly, mute child who suffers from every allergy under the sun, from nickel to artificial fabric. His overbearing mother, Rebecca, is an accomplished author who is focused on her latest book release, while his dissatisfied father, Jacob, spends sweaty, shirtless days toiling away in the carpentry project in the backyard. Now, that's a synopsis to draw you in. No. It is directed by Mercedes Price Morgan, written by Leah St. Marie. It stars Morgan Saylor, Kate Foster, and Michael Olivier. I'm going to say it's Olivier. Danilo Crovetti, Keith Powell, Laura Coover, Sean.
Yeah, Sean.
Sorry, we know that name. Sean Wilson, and Christiana Montoya. All right, Jeff, sir, you're starting us off. What was your first impression of Spoonful of Sugar?
I think he's messed up.
Is he frozen?
That he got to start twice. He's like, wait, I'm starting. Wait, is he frozen? He is frozen.
He's frozen. All right.
I think he microdosed.
He did. He is. Everybody enjoy microdose.
Wait.
Jeff
Wait,
Mohr.
he's back.
He's back. Jeff,
You
what
guys
was your
still
first
here?
impression?
Yeah, we're here.
No, you're not.
Can you hear us, sir?
I can.
What was your
Excellent.
first impression of Spoonful of Sugar?
I think that they're not used to windstorms in Southern California. It's playing havoc with my internet speed. But my first impression is, I kind of like this. I liked Morgan Saylor. I thought she was awesome in the range of stuff that she did. this is like the most. You couldn't have put 4 more dysfunctional people together into this little family unit when she comes to take care of the kid. There's just so much of that, but then it doesn't really. Well, I guess it does make sense. So I'm going to stop there because I'm not sure I can stop from spoiling stuff. But I enjoyed Millicent, or I got to stop. If I keep going,
He's going to spoil it.
I enjoyed it. It's funky. It's not for everybody, but I enjoyed it.
All right, I'll take that, sir. Thank you, Crystal. What was your first impression of A Spoonful of Sugar? Or just Spoonful of Sugar.
So I don't think I understand this movie completely because it doesn't really make sense. Because honestly, the boy is allergic to everything, and yet he's wearing plastic and obviously synthetic fabric with his costume, and I don't get it. There's so many contradictions all over the place, and I'm not sure if it's just one big LSD microdosing trip, but I guess I'll go with that as the explanation because there's so many plot holes. Like there's more plot holes than there are holes in the back of that yard.
And there's a lot of holes in that yard.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna. I think that the LSD stuff is supposed to be part of that, and you guys know that I'm not into that kind of stuff. I like more of a cohesive story and kind of over the whole Lolita, like, the girl's a young vixen and she's bad, and then the man is like just this stereotypical male that's I don't know, that kind of message is just kind of over for me. I get it, yes, men, we've all dealt, every woman that I know has dealt with some of that, but just kind of, So I think the acting is good. I think that the storyline is kind of interesting. I could think of hundreds of ways where it could be more interesting. Along the way, I kept thinking, ooh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but it was none of those things. It's a lot more straightforward than I gave it credit for. I also am confused as to their representation of. I know that she said the boy had autism, or they thought he had autism, and then apparently he seemed to have many of the characteristics of someone who would have autism.
Severe case. Right?
Yes, definitely. But yet they turned him into. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about that. It bothers me. But he was also being manipulated. I don't get it. That's all. I think this movie's just.
No, I think that's fair. I think it's fair. Mm-hmm. It does ask a lot of his audience.
Yeah. So.
I get it. Dave! Sir, what was your first impression of A Spoonful of Sugar?
Yeah, this was a messed up flick, man. I tell you. It was but I think I'm a little more in Jeff's camp than I am in Crystal's camp with this, because I don't know what they were trying to tell us with this story. I really don't. I mean, obviously, very dysfunctional people. Maybe some medically so, maybe some mentally so, maybe some drug-induced so. I mean, all this is presented and kind of thrown at us. I did think the girl that played Millicent gave a very manic performance. I mean, she was all over the board. She went from looking like a 16-year-old kid at the beginning of this to being just a crazed animal, at the end of it. And I thought it was a solid performance by her. But the journey through that was disturbing, but not in a entertaining way. It was just disturbing. I did like the kind of twist at the end, because I don't know how you all were feeling, but I was kind of thinking that like she was the mentally deranged serial killer preying on this family, and they kind of throw us a curveball there at the end, which I kind of appreciated. But at the end of the day, I can't say I liked the movie. And then, of course, they had to, from a filmmaking standpoint, they had to go with the flashy lights, which automatically I'm like,
well, I mean, it fits
Son of
here,
a
doesn't
bitch.
it? I mean, this is the kind of story it
come
fits
on.
in.
I don't know. It's like, good Lord, seriously, it's just so cliche now, But yeah, I don't want to say I liked it, but I think most people would expect me to hate this movie, and I didn't hate it.
Okay, you didn't
That's
hate
all I
it.
got.
Doesn't sound like you liked it, but he didn't hate it.
I didn't
All
hate
right,
it.
I think I enjoyed this more than the three of you guys. I had a good time with this, and it's like, how many deranged serial killers can we shove into one movie? To me, it was the performances of our four leads, right? Our babysitter, if you will, and the parents, and then the kid. I thought they were all really great, and all the relationships are complex, right? Except for maybe the husband and wife, it's pretty, I don't know, maybe a little too worn, but it serves the purpose of the movie, but it's also not the focus, right? It's motivating some of the characters' decisions, but the relationship between her and the boy, I'm going to get their names here. Let me get their Millicent and Johnny, right? I really enjoyed it. I like that, how she was befriending him, and how and how twisted it was in her, from her perspective, but and what his condition was is always suspect, right? Because even the father out and out says it's all made up. He's not allergic to anything. It's in so you don't really, you're always questioning everything about what people are doing and saying, and what they're really feeling, because they betray themselves emotionally and actions on purpose. I mean, it's part of the story. It's not that that didn't work well, maybe for you three, but for me, I found that really fascinating. And the drug aspect, I liked it when the animation comes to life, and she sees the apples rot in front of her hands and in front of her face and stuff in the hands of the guy. But it is disturbing, Dave. It is kind of disturbing at times. And I just want to say one more thing before we move into it, that the Morgan Sailor really impressed me, and I thought her performance was really strong. And she kind of reminds me of a cross between Isabel Fuhrman and Angela Bettis. Or is it Bettis? Yeah, it's Bettis.
Yeah, it's Bettis.
Kind of a cross between them two.
Little Sissy Spacek in there too, like young
Sissy
Spacek.
Yeah. And the way physically, and then the way she acts as well. And you definitely, I think somebody said if she was manic. I mean, she was definitely unhinged, and you get that. But the thing is like, everybody in this movie's unhinged in one way or another, right? Or is presented in that way. And I think what Crystal is reacting to is that there's a lot of unreliable narrators going around. Like almost every character is unreliable, right? So that does ask a lot. That's what I'm talking about. This movie asks a lot of the audience, because you don't know who or if anybody is actually presenting the truth to us. And then you add drugs to it, LSD, and tripping and stuff, and then it takes it a step further. Although it's not as big a part of it as I thought it was going to be, given that that's on the poster and everything. It's actually subtle in comparison to what I was expecting. But I don't know. To me, and I love the ending. The ending sold it for me, especially the ending in the credits. Even sold it more. Yeah. And it's kind of gruesome at times. I mean, not overly so, but it has its moments where it wants to be, right? So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. I was surprised. I thought it was going to be kind of a meh film, but it actually worked.
See, for me, anyone can make up scary images and look at things and have things, but if it doesn't make sense, what's the point? I think someone who can make scary images and make it have that horror and make it actually make sense and fit the story, it's much more difficult to do that. Putting people on LSD and then just doing what you want, doesn't necessarily make a good filmmaker to me. To me, what that says is you liked some random things, so you decided to throw it into a movie. It just doesn't speak to a great filmmaker to me.
I think there's a little more to that because she's experienced some what she thinks is progression, and I don't think it is. I think it's actually working against her, but she thinks it's bettering her. So she decides she's going to doctor this kid with it as well. So I mean, I think it has a plot point to it in that respect.
Okay, you can.
Just me. All right.
It doesn't change the fact of what it is.
I think I see that, but I think the LSD is really kind of. Are we spoilery yet?
We're on spoilers.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Because and again, what surprised me with the ending of the movie was the fact that I don't think the mother and the father had any intention of bringing a drug addict into this. I mean, they're basically fostering a serial killer.
Well, I mean, see, Dave, they knew that.
It might even be a family tradition if you
because I mean, I knew what the kid was doing because they said way
I didn't
back.
see that surprised me.
Well, but they said
I was surprised
you know
by that.
what he's capable of. You already know what he's capable of. That was before they even really brought her into the house
because he said at it. Yep.
Yeah, they said you know what he's capable of.
But I thought he was talking about the rabbits and all the stuff he was doing to his mother.
Well, you know what? Oh my God! Yeah. Like
serial
killers.
That was kind of lost on me.
That's totally a serial killer thing.
Definitely start with animals,
of course.
So that's why it didn't shock me.
I was like, holy shit. And then I loved at the end, the last thing when he's like, well, you keep this up, we're going to have to buy the lot next to us.
I know. It's like, and then they present why they have to do it. It's great.
And he wet the bed, too. That was another thing that fits in that trope, Crystal.
Wow.
Well, that also fits with autism.
Yeah, and of course she has her own.
And the fact that he doesn't like to be touched, the fact that he's mute. I mean, there's a lot of things here. It kind of goes, and I'm like, oh yes, let's give an autistic child LSD. I hate her. I
don't think you're supposed to be sympathetic.
Yeah. But I hate the mother too, and I hate the child, and I hate the dad. So guess what? If you make me hate everybody, what am I supposed to root for? And what is the point? What is your point? What are you trying to tell me?
I do. Go ahead. Yep.
What I liked, and now this is again, I'm assuming this is a big assumption that Millicent is not as unrieliable a narrator. In other words, she's had all these foster parents who abused her. So I just thought
definitely killed more than
thought it was cooler than hell that she handled all of them. When she's flipping through that book and
because she took
those are her trophies. And then you're also kind of trophies, get the idea, exactly. Yeah, you also kind of get the idea that the kid, the babysitters they're bringing in, there's a couple snide comments about the last one who they make sound like a sex kitten or a seducer. Now, I'm not saying I'm not giving any credit at all to the husband. But the wife makes a couple of comments, so you're kind of getting the idea that they're, I don't know. I was sort of like going, they're both like we got a female and a little kid Dexter here killing people off who are not too admirable, which I'm not really what the story says, but that's what I thought was fun about it.
Yeah.
But Crystal's like though. There's absolutely no one to like in this movie. Everybody in this movie, everybody sucks.
I mean, they want you to root for Millicent, but she's not. She's not a good character. I mean, she's not.
Well, even the doctor is an idiot.
He's also he's presented in a way that.
At first, you think he's okay until gross.
Yeah. But it's that. So there's the thing where is it a reliable narrator? Is that her perception of what happened, or did he actually do that?
No, I believe that. I believe all of that. It's not that much of an unreliable narrator. Like, I believe mainly her hallucinations are the biggest thing. It's like I honestly feel like that was only just to add horror to this film, and to add space and to add time. And God,
Well,
I
you gotta
wanted
love
to
a
like
severed
it.
finger
Well,
crawling across the floor.
Yeah, and
I
then you get a
did.
reference to the severed finger later. So,
Yeah, that was funny.
because her foster father has a missing finger and a bandage around it. So,
Yes.
which I liked.
I guess I just think like I don't get it. I just don't understand its purpose. And I mean, I feel like
I don't understand that there is no arc, right? So that's the problem. Like we like a good. What you see in most screenwriting, and Dave, you back me up on this, is that at least one character, preferably the main character, has an arc, right?
yes.
Starts in one place and then learns
Not in
something
this
throughout
one.
the
Not in
story.
this movie.
This one isn't that. I'm not really sure anybody
Uh,
has that, except for
No.
maybe.
I
I
think
thought maybe
Johnny
Millicent kind of does.
I thought maybe the father
Who
was
does?
going to.
I thought Millicent. I mean, Millicent
Does
starts off. Well, she starts off wearing pigtails and very shy and hesitant. And
Yeah, when they said she was
awkward.
21, I'm like, she don't look 21. You know, when she mentions it at the interview at the beginning of the movie, you know, because I think the mom even says,
Right,
"Are you
right,
old enough
right,
to
right.
babysit?"
But the truth is, when I saw her like in the middle, I was like, she looks like she's 30. So
No, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and she is. The actress is 28.
okay. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So they made her look. But I mean, yes, she's clearly having a sexual awakening. I get that, and she is also. Yes, she's a serial killer meeting a serial killer. And she understood. She knew immediately when she saw him. She saw the sign. She got it. I would know immediately. Like, it's very obvious. I get it. But I don't get it.
She definitely wanted to be his mother. She wanted to be a family.
She wanted a family.
Yeah,
Yeah, she wanted a family.
And I think, I mean, that kind of makes. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not
Because
gonna
she
say she's
never
relatable, but-
had a
Right.
proper family, which makes sense. But does she? What is most ironic about it is she's still being sexually abused,
Yeah,
and so it's like it's just a sad, weird, awkward.
Yes.
The whole thing is just weird.
yeah. It's an ugly movie. It's
Yeah.
an ugly
Never
story.
respect him.
Yeah,
It's like she sees it under the guise of like, oh, I'm gonna be in this do you love me? No, he doesn't love you.
But she wants him
No.
to. But she
I
wants him
mean,
to.
you're no different than your foster fathers. Like, it's jeez.
Well, especially when you find out, I thought that was interesting because the father and the mother kind of had this ongoing argument about he wanted to have the kid taken
away.
to an institution somewhere, and she wouldn't have anything to do with it. And at the end, we find out why he wants the
Yes.
kid taken to
Yeah.
an institution. And so that kind of made
Yeah,
a little more sense to
there-
me. And now he's just kind of resigned to.
Well, the father
There's
is
Thinking
so
another
much
thing.
codependency
shockingly
going on.
the most level-headed person in this whole movie.
yeah.
What
I
is
kind
it?
of thought I thought he was going to be the one to have an arc when they were in the car and he was telling Millicent, "You've made a difference. You know, you've made a difference in the little kid's life." I thought, oh, he's like actually like not the
Yeah.
asshole I think he is.
But then
No,
he becomes
he
the
is.
asshole right
But
there.
then
But then he like we know what happens.
Well,
next.
and I think
It's like,
sometimes
okay.
it's we want things to be too neat. You know, we want them to be bad or good, and people are
There's a
both.
lot of gray in here. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
do good things
there's
and bad things.
no. I think this is very black and white.
Is
It's
it?
like
Okay.
having sex with your freaking babysitter is bad.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Killing
in that
people
respect,
Yes,
is
it is.
bad. Yeah,
Yes,
no,
it is.
you're wrong. There isn't actually gray here. That's what's interesting
There isn't any
about
gray
it.
at all.
I didn't say
Okay.
gray.
No, it's all
I
black
did.
and
I
white.
did.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm talking about Doc did.
I
No,
did.
it's very black and white, and that's what makes it polarizing. It's like
Okay.
that is bad. Giving a child LSD, bad, especially when you have no right or and
LSD that you
stealing.
stole.
Yeah,
Stolen.
exactly.
Yeah.
See, it's very black and white. There's not gray.
Where are the police in this? All these people are dying. There's no police to be
Yeah.
found. Oh my god.
Well, what's interesting about predators, though, is I could buy that because I was thinking about that. But these foster fathers were probably flying pretty low under the radar because they're predators.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's
Well,
not.
same with the. I mean, it's pretty easy for the family to bring in. Once it happens once, it's pretty easy for the family to bring in babysitters that don't have many other contacts.
So
you know.
at the beginning, I was like,
So they're not missed
why
right
would
away.
they hire her? Because what?
Yes.
And then, of course, as soon as he said, what he's we've already seen what he's capable of. I was like, oh, someone who won't be missed.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it doesn't matter. She doesn't have any experience. She's never really worked with kids. She doesn't matter.
Yep.
She was actually the perfect
the
fit.
player was being played. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, the gore was good enough, Dave, for you?
Yeah, it was. Again, the disturbing thing about this movie is the fucking people. It's not the gore.
And the people
It's not-
fucking.
It's not the gore, but the gore that we do get, yeah, for sure. I mean, when it's violent, it is violent.
There's a lot
For
of
sure.
stabbing going on. A lot of stabbing.
It's a very
stabby
stabby
bunch of
movie.
people.
It's a very stabby movie. Yes, it's true.
Yeah, if you're triggered by dead animals, don't go near this one.
Yes.
Don't
Yeah,
go near
especially
this one.
especially people screwing next to dead animals.
And
What's funny is that really bothered Dave. Okay.
I just thought it didn't bother me. I just thought it was so strange. I'm like,
Well,
what?
it's not as bad as flashing lights, though.
Yeah. The flashing lights bother me. Yeah, that bothers me.
So I
but-
did like the way that. Okay, I know Dave doesn't like it, but I did like the way her LSD trips were shot and how it did that flip of. See, I didn't have a big problem with the cinematography and a lot of the direction. I had a big problem with the story and why.
Yeah,
it
I think
exists.
the acting is good too. All the way
Oh,
around.
the acting, yeah. I didn't have a
Yep,
problem with
yep.
any of the acting.
I think that's what made it for me. I was so interested in Morgan Saylor's character that how she was portraying the character, not necessarily the character itself, but all the complex. It was complex. I think it was a complex character. There was a lot going on, and it wasn't just one surface. What's this? There's layers. It's like an onion. All right, with that weird thing that has no place to be in this conversation, let's go ahead and wrap this up, giving our score 1 to 5 and our favorite scene. I've kind of whispered mine, so don't steal it. All right, we'll start off with. Oh gosh, you guys didn't pay attention.
It was
to me.
Jeff.
How? All right, Jeff, you're up first. What was? give us the spiel, sir.
So, despite the fact that there's lots of plot holes, which I don't disagree with Crystal on that, I'm going to give this a 3.5.
Nice.
Mostly for the acting, but also for the. I love watching. This is going to sound terrible. I love watching psychologically damaged people,
And everybody is damaged.
and they're all over the place here. So, and more is revealed as you go. So, and favorite scene. Boy, you're letting me go first. I guess I'm going to go with
Take it.
the scene behind the credits.
Yeah.
That was mine.
I love that scene. That made the
I'm
whole
putting
movie for me.
LSD in your
Oh,
mouth.
I started. I'm like, normally you're like going. Well, you knew where it was going once they went to that shot, but
Yep. It was so
I
fascinating.
was
It just
waiting to
kept going
count,
and kept going. And they got progressively deader.
Yeah.
Decomposed.
Decomposed, yeah.
Yes.
That's
Excellent.
good times.
And I was wondering how they dressed the skeleton, like packed dirt in the eye sockets, and anyway.
Yep. They had a tree. They paired it. They planted a tree over everybody. That's what they did. We're about to start citrus. Because they had apple trees everywhere. All right, Crystal, you're
have some root beer.
There you go. Go ahead, Crystal. Your shot.
So, I bet you the boy partially learned from his father to bury all those rabbits. Just a thought. But so I'm gonna give this a 2.5 because it's shot competently. It's acted well. I don't like the story, but it also didn't piss me off. Okay, so if it had pissed me off, it'd get less. But because it didn't piss me off,
and it could have. It goes to
could've.
places where it can piss you off.
Yeah, but it didn't. I didn't get it. So I just didn't feel it had a purpose, which is sometimes fine too. But so 2.5. My favorite scene is when the bitch got what she deserved.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
I was
There's
like,
a lot of bitches. I know which bitch you're talking about, but yeah.
obviously,
Oh,
yeah.
boy, did she get what she deserved.
Mhm.
No, that was
and the
really
one who
fun.
dealt the blows. It was beautiful. So
And
poetic.
the reactions on the other faces. It was
Yeah.
it was
You're
like,
like, oh,
yeah, this is awesome.
Well, oh, no. I'll wait
What
till
do
the end.
Okay. Dave, you light us up.
I was actually going to give this a 2.75, but in talking with it, I'm going to up that to a 3.25. I think I like this one more than I thought I did.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think we gave it good service here. I think Crystal made some great points that I actually hadn't considered. But at the end of the day, it was very well acted. It's not a likable story by any way, shape, or form. But the ending did surprise me, likely just because I wasn't paying attention. It seems Crystal picked up on things a little quicker than I did. But I was shocked at the end of it. That's not where I thought they were going to go. Favorite scene? I'm going to go when. Let's go with when Millicent took care of Daddy.
Which time?
Which
The
time?
the stabby,
her daddy.
the stabby scene. Yeah, her daddy. Yeah, when she went home to see Daddy.
Okay.
She went home to see Daddy, and Daddy was
the belt.
yeah. So and again, a very very manic performance by that young actress, and boy, she was in full psycho mode in that scene. So
she set him up good too, and he was it was so creepy. What a creep!
It was.
He was worse than all the rest of them. I think wasn't he, or was he? I don't know.
I they were all nasty. They all needed to be lit on fire and left for dead.
Light him on fire and leave him for dead. All right. Well, I didn't expect that. All right. I'm going to give this 3.75. I really enjoyed it. I think, but I think it's mostly because of the lead actress and the guy who played Johnny. I thought he did, for a kid doing this for seeing this. It was a challenging role, I think, for a kid to do this particular role without, because it's all about expression and body language and facial, right? So you did a great job, and the parents were good too in their own ways. The characters themselves, like Crystal's saying, are questionable, but to me it was a fascinating journey, and I was a bit surprised by the end as well. I'm just going to say I didn't catch it like Crystal. I knew there was something up, but I didn't take it as far as they went. Let's put it that way. And but I really enjoyed that they took it as far as they went, and I think that made the movie for me. Right there from the steps to the very end, everything that happened, I was totally down for. I was like, all right, yes, this is the Tales from the Crypt kind of ending I want on this. Favorite scene. You guys took all my favorite scenes. There's a lot of scenes in here that are really interesting. But I'm going to go. Okay, so this is a little bit of a more subtle scene, and this movie isn't subtle at all. But this is after that. But we haven't got to the ending yet that Jeff picked. But it's after what Crystal picked, and the son's in the bed, and the mom comes in there. And she's got those deep scratches on her face.
Yeah.
But there's this look between them two. There's this look between them two, like they're bonding over this whole thing, right? And they're like, it's like, yes, she's like so proud of her little psycho son.
Well, she's a cutter, and I mean, I could delve
That's
into
right.
the
She was a
psychology.
cutter. I forgot about that.
Look, guys, I could explain so much psychology
and
about
they even
this
mentioned
movie.
the mother. They even mentioned her mother, right?
Yep. It's just and her book. I mean, just her book alone. It's there's so much to.
And they like pain. There's all kinds of science going on.
Well, what's her last line?
Oh, I don't remember. What did she say? Oh, I don't remember.
The
what
mom's,
was it, Jeff?
He's going to do that in Freeze.
What's her last line is, "That's my boy."
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. That's the proud part of it. She's like, yes, Norman, you did a great job. His name.
Well, honestly, if I was the mother at that point, I would be proud that he killed her too, because she was horrible.
But he liked her though, didn't he? Like her? Wasn't there a relationship between Millicent and Johnny, or was that just?
Well,
was that all just setting her up for?
I don't know. He told her to stab his mother.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Which he did, but in a non-fatal way.
Yeah.
But what's funny is he saw her as his mother.
Millicent.
So see the psychology here. So
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I think it's a very
You're my mommy, gotcha.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting sort of yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
well, there you go. That's our review
Yeah.
for Spoonful of Sugar. The title, will not give you is a little bit more optimistic than the film is itself.
Oh yeah.
But it's but check it on Shudder, and when you do, and we know you will because you have Shudder, let us know down below what you think of Spoonful of Sugar and this crazy group of people.
I still think it's worth a watch, like for the acting and for. I mean, it's something for sure. Maybe I'll figure it out
I can see it pissing off a lot of, like you said, you can piss off a lot of people, and there are triggery things in here that if you, especially animal people, you don't want to watch this.
For sure.
Even though it's all post, you still don't want to know about it. This is yuck.
A lot of choking going on too. Lots of choking.
There is a lot of choking.
Yeah, a lot of choking.
So now we just open more people want to watch it. All right, thank you, Dave. All right, there you go. That's our review. Crystal, Jeff, Dave, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right, let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Gruesome Magazine.